Szanowni Państwo, kontynuujemy nasze dzisiejsze spotkanie w ramach 20. edycji Festiwalu Nauki Akademii WSB. Dzisiaj rozmawiamy o nowych technologiach, o człowieku i za chwilę dowiecie się, jak nowe technologie i sztuczna inteligencja mogą wpłynąć na to, jak uczymy się i innych języków obcych. Ladies and gentlemen, artificial intelligence is one of the topics of today's main topics during the festival, and the question of the lecture is how new technologies and AI may influence the way we learn and teach foreign languages. And Dr. Łukasz Mencner will try to give the answer for this question. Panie i panowie, Dr. Łukasz Mencner.
Hi guys. Hello everyone. I hope you can hear me well. Can you hear me well in the back? Yeah, right. Hi, hello. So thank you, Michał, for this introduction. You're great as always. Yes, I love it. Really. Okay, guys, today we'll be talking about new technologies in terms of foreign languages. I've been teaching and also learning foreign languages, let's say for 15, 20 years of my life. But the second area of my interest is medical sciences. And I try to connect languages and medical sciences in the area of translations. So I will try to tell you how it works nowadays and how new technologies help me or disturb me doing my job correctly, okay? I will give a brief introduction to the very topic of AI. I'm a language specialist still, so I believe that some people use AI, acronym, but they don't really realize how many things are involved in this thing. Hi, girls. Yes, hi. All right, and then I will show you how the applications work and what the applications are. And then we'll talk about some conclusions I have. Every lecture is a subjective vision of the topic, right? Subjective because it's my point of view, but you're invited to ask me questions anytime you want. Guys, how new technologies and AI may influence the way we learn, teach, and foreign languages. When I was thinking of this topic, I put the verb may influence, but actually I was thinking about are influencing because we're already experiencing certain things. Yes, please sit down. So this is the topic of my lecture today, and I'm happy that you're here and we can talk about it. Of course, we can have a series of questions or some, let's say, discussion topics later on. I love talking with people like you because you have like different perspectives, and I love different perspectives. I like, different angles. Right, everybody is sitting, so I think we may start. Right, okay, guys, so, sorry. This is it. I'm starting my lecture with this suggestive picture because this is what we actually think artificial intelligence in teaching and learning languages is about, right? We imagine a robot and we actually talk to this robot like this. The robot actually feels what we want to say because language is a collection of signs. So it's not only the signs, it's not only the words, but it's also about our emotions, the metaphors that we use, idiomatic expressions, right? So we have this perfect idea of artificial intelligence in teaching and learning languages, guys, right? So we believe that this robot knows exactly what we want to say. He or she or it understands the language and everything works perfectly, right? So let's have a look if this is actually the point, okay? First, what is AI, guys? Generally, AI is a very old topic. It was invented or used for the first time somewhere around the middle of the 20th century, okay? So it's not a new concept. We tend to think in 21st century that everything what we have appeared like in the last decade. No, it's not true. Certain ideas have been developed for a very long time, right? But there are just new stages of the same idea. So we have artificial intelligence that is going to enable computers to do things for us, right? The way we do them. And here in the last quote, we have the Chat GPT mentioned because I think that a lot of people here, you, associate artificial intelligence and languages with Chat GPT, which is this new wave, let's say, of artificial intelligence around us, right? Okay, sorry. Yeah, this is the map of artificial intelligence I created for you. So this is what actually artificial intelligence generally encompasses. And we are interested in the right upper corner, right? So you see how many things are actually involved and let's say included in this very idea of AI, right? So when you talk to somebody, look how languages work. You know, you talk to somebody, you don't know this person, you meet him or her for the first time, and you use the same code, you use AI, you use the name artificial intelligence. This person may have a totally different concept of the same word than you do, right? Because he or she may mean one of the things that are placed on the left side of our diagram, of the graph. What actually you can have in mind is the thing that I want to focus on today, and this is the upper right corner, which is deep learning and natural language processing, NLP, right? I will tell you what it is. And you see where Chat GPT is. So if you think that the core of this graph is 1950s of the 20th century, this is the progress that we have made so far. This is where Chat GPT is, okay? Right. Another graph, guys, showing how the progress is going and has been going since 1950s, right? So we see, you know, artificial intelligence in the 50s, as I mentioned, and then we have machine learning and deep learning. And guys, this is the topic for us now for the next 5 minutes, right? Because I want to tell you what machine learning and deep learning is, because these are the concepts that all new ways of learning and teaching languages are about. Because when you use any of the applications that enable you to learn the language, any language, probably you appreciate the fact that the application plans the revisions for you, yeah? Or Duolingo gives you a game that is, you know, about playing a game, but it's also about learning the language. You probably appreciate the fact that there is an algorithm, there is like a machine behind the whole process that thinks and analyzes everything what you have already revised and learned, and this machine plans the revisions for you, yeah? It makes our lives easier, yeah? That's easy. So this is what machine learning is about. Machine learning is when we are still part of the process, but it's the machine that prompts things, that gives us some, let's say, possible solutions, but you're the one that will click yes or no. You are the one who will decide if this word is going to be revised or not, or this category of words or topic of words or whatever you do on Duolingo or any other application will be done or not. But deep learning, guys, is more sophisticated. Deep learning is actually the same like machine learning plus like a neuron network of suggestions and things. I will give you some examples in a second, but deep learning is like the next stage. So if you appreciate the fact that actually everything is planned for you, you are just the one who can use it. Think of Amazon giving you, when you buy something on Amazon once, the transaction has been successful, Amazon gives you recommendations afterwards, right? Because this is what deep learning is doing. It analyzes, it conducts statistics, it checks your behavior, it checks many, many things, and then it creates this natural way for you just to click, yes, this is it, I want to buy next, right? This is how smart these algorithms are. So this is generally what we are, where we are now, okay? Of course, there is even the next stage, but you will see it in a second. And yeah, I will try to show what the future is also, yeah? Okay, gears are leaving. Right, so you see the same picture here, right? You have the picture, you know, deep learning. Imagine that you're learning vocabulary connected with pictures, yes? Deep learning doesn't need you as a person to analyze if it thinks correctly or not. It associates things so well that actually you are not needed to create any category of words. Deep learning mechanism will do it for you. That's the thing. That's how Duolingo works. That's why we enjoy it so much. There are also some drawbacks, but I will tell you about them in a second. What I want you to remember is that artificial intelligence is an old topic, but we have stages of the whole process. The stage we are now on is, let's say, machine learning, deep learning, and then will be NPL. This is natural processing of language, which I'm going to talk about in a second, right? So you see that the picture, the first picture and the second picture, the difference is that in the second one, we are no longer needed, right, to check if it's correct. We can just enjoy using the application, and we can enjoy how well organized it is, because deep learning is like connection. It's similar to our brain. It takes into account many neuron connections, and then you get the ready result. This is how Duolingo works. This is why we enjoy it so much. Okay, again, a short summary, I want to make sure that you get the idea, okay? It's not so easy. If you are into IT, I think you have heard those words, but I want to refer them to language learning. So, very often when you Google the idea of machine learning and deep learning, the Google will give you ideas connected with learning by machines or learning some software, so more IT-oriented ideas, okay? Here, I want to refer the same ideas to language learning, because this is what we are here for today. Right, still, you see how this is another graph that actually shows you how the whole process is going, yeah? You see that there is one main idea. It doesn't mean that deep learning is better than machine learning. No, it means just next step. It takes into account more things. It is even smarter, let's say in inverted commas, because it doesn't need us. It plans everything for us. That's why language applications are getting better and better, because so many things connected with our behavior, the way we learn, how much time we have, what exactly is the time or day of our revisions, and so on and so forth. So many things are taken into consideration to create the perfect process for us. You enjoy Duolingo or any applications, or you don't? I guess you do, right? Because Duolingo is the most popular in the world, right? Why? So many things are done for us. Why? Because deep learning mechanism is about collection of things that we do when we are in the application. The more often we are there, the more data the algorithm gets, the better for our future learning, because it's even more tailored. This is how it works, yeah? Guys, these are the examples, because both machine learning and deep learning, they are, let's say, they have different aspects, very often similar aspects, but are more developed. When you think of, for example, Google Alexa or Amazon Alexa, yeah, because it's Android Alexa, Amazon Alexa, Alexa, yeah, that's this technology. This is what machine learning and deep learning have both in common, but deep learning has this idea more sophisticated. This is the voice recognition. If you have ever learned any language by talking to your phone, so the application was actually recording you and was analyzing the way you pronounce things, this was connected with this deep learning algorithm of voice recognition, right? So we have this element already. With some Alexa stories, you can Google some Alexa stories, because it's not so perfect yet, but still it helps. Uber Eats, so you can check where the delivery is, so geolocation, right? You can check how it goes. You can check which driver, not in Uber Eats, but for example in the Uber main service, right, which is transportation of people. You can see where is the nearest driver. You can see that when you use a lot of times this application will suggest how you should, which driver you should choose and which will be first and so on, yeah? Face ID, guys, face recognition. Hey Siri, like Apple equivalent of Alexa. Facebook and Google here. Facebook, of course, with this mechanism of suggesting your friends. Of course, it's like you can see how Facebook works by suggesting friends to you, because I don't know if you ever noticed, but if you are around and you have this function on in your settings, Facebook actually discovers the people around you and automatically suggests that maybe it's your friend, right? The same is with languages, yes? You see people using Duolingo around, these applications may connect, may see what is the stage of progress, right? This is possible to do. I'm not saying that Duolingo is already doing this, but I'm saying it's possible. Okay, now big story, guys. Facebook, in terms of translations, because I don't know if you have noticed, but Facebook has this automatic translation of messages, of posts. The same is with Amazon. When you want to contact the seller, you can write in your language, Amazon will translate it. And Google Translate, right? The big story with Google Translate. All these translation services, guys, the moment deep learning has come into play, the moment it happened, they got very, very good. And I think that now most of the texts, I'm risking this statement, guys, because actually it is a threat to the job of translators, right? It's a threat to the job, my job. I will tell you, I have medical translation, so it's a bit different story. But I can risk the statement that Google Translate now with this deep learning algorithm, so this more sophisticated machine learning, by collecting data from all over the world of people who put texts in Google Translate, it's able to perfectly translate 60% of all texts that people translate every day. This is what I want to tell you. Sorry if you were not so sure of Google or it let you down, but Google Translate is able to do it now. Of course, translators are still needed to double check what Google has written, because sometimes there are some stupid mistakes. But Google with this deep learning, because when it was based with machine learning only, it was following certain procedures, it was following certain statistics, but still people were laughing. Look at the translation of Google, right? It's terrible. Look at this, right? It doesn't make any sense. Google didn't read my intention. They didn't read my, the hidden message in the text, right? This was machine learning. Deep learning is like the next stage, and Google has become very, very good with this. I'm not saying that you can put a medical text inside. Story from last week, I was translating a text about cancer or breast cancer, and still Google didn't have enough information because it was giving me translations that were a mixture of medical words, but still with some interruptions, with some words that completely were unconnected with the medical words. So it means that Google now, at this stage, March 2024, is able to translate perfectly standard English text or standard any other language text, but when it gets very specialized, it's not so easy. That's my conclusion. But it's getting better, guys. The more text you put in Google Translate, the cleverer it gets, right? So sooner or later, I think it will be able to translate medical tests as well, but I don't think that we'll do it perfectly because medicine is changing very rapidly, so Google will need a lot of time to collect the data. But standard languages, let's say your languages, or German, English, whatever, French, I think standard text can already be done with the help of artificial intelligence. So answering the question from our topic, how artificial intelligence influences the way we learn and teach, definitely it has influenced the way we translate text because Google has got better with this deep learning algorithm, really. Okay? Okay. This is what Google said, actually, about entering into this deep learning procedure, this more sophisticated algorithm. You see that even they say that the translations got 60% better. 60% better. I don't know, you know Google Translate, yeah? You know that, I don't know, you agree or not that it's getting better or not? You're silent, okay? It's a lecture, so you're rather here to listen to me, but I can tell you that I see a huge improvement, okay? I'm not saying that it's perfect, but still the direction is clear, you know? We are getting closer to the moment when Google will translate immediately to the other languages. Samsung, guys, nowadays, the new Galaxy model already has this translation built inside the mobile phone, right? So you can use the deep learning algorithm of voice recognition. You can say what you want to say in your language and actually give it to the person to listen to or to check if he or she understands in his or her language. You know, I haven't checked that yet, but people say that they like the very idea, okay? Maybe it's not very checked because it was introduced like this year or the end of the last year. But still, you see the direction. You see that translations or translators, people who want to be translators, have actually, because of artificial intelligence, they have two choices. One, you change your job because you will have to say, sorry, Google, I'm not that fast. I'm good, but somebody who doesn't care about the 100% accuracy, I mean, like in very basic texts, will not ask me to do it, but will ask Google to do it, simply. Second, as a translator, you can have the second choice. You can get very specialized in disciplines or even in fragments of disciplines that are so specialized that Google will not do it. These are the choices for the future for translators. If you think of the career like this, I'm not saying it's lost. I'm not saying it's a bad choice. I'm saying that the level is increasing because machines are getting better and better, okay? Right. What was the challenge, guys? Because Google is quite satisfied with this deep learning. It's better than machine learning, okay? The challenge was that still irony, sarcasm, so things that are not really conveyed by science which actually constitute the whole language, but it's more about the whole context. It's more about feelings, intentions. It's more about idiomatic expressions. Still, Google said that it was not perfect, okay? That when you didn't say things straight, it had problems with actually deciphering your intention. Right? And some funny translations came up, right? So what we have, guys, we have natural learning process. And this is, for learning languages, it's very, very important. I think that sooner or later you will hear this name because you see how it works. You see that this graph here, you know, AI, machine learning, deep learning, so this is what I have told you so far. Now, this is NLP in the middle and connected with computer science and human language. This is another step, and this is what Chat GPT is about, right? Natural learning process, so algorithm, yes, statistics, yes, your behavior, yes, types of text that you put in or languages that you learn, yes, revisions, yes, and millions of different aspects, yes, plus very human-like, very human-oriented things that happen together with communication, that happen together with the language. I mean, behavior of you when you talk, or intentions, or idiomatic expressions that are used at a given time, which literally means, they mean nothing, but in the context they mean something. You get the paraphrases of, I don't know, proverbs or something. Some people don't get the metaphors, you have to paraphrase it, right? So this is what, so far, the Google Translate is not very good at, but still is getting better and better. What we have, it's natural learning process, and this is, in my opinion, the future. You see, this is how NLP is different from machine learning and also the deep learning algorithm, because it takes all these aspects into account, right? These aspects are no longer standard computer-created data or set of data. It's just things that we as humans understand perfectly, but it's so difficult to translate, let's say, or convey using just words. It's the same like happened, you know, with online education, guys, right? I have classes with my students. Very often they don't turn their cameras on, so I don't see their faces, right? And I discover, when it happened to me for the first time, that actually facial expression is a part of communication, right? Because I can see that certain words with a certain, you know, mimics, let's say, can mean different things, yeah? So far, Google was behaving like the teacher who didn't see the faces, right? That's the thing. Now, it's working, it's going into the direction that it will be getting better and better, right? You see that we have phonetic and phonological, morphological, lexical, syntactic, semantic. If you're not language specialist, you don't know these phrases, but you don't have to. It's about discourse, it's about being pragmatic, right? Semantic is very important, you know, because it understands the literal meaning of the words, phrases, and sentences, right? So literally, but still, you can look at phonetical and phonological, so how the things are pronounced, which is so important when you learn a language, right? Think about it. You learn English, you know all the words in the world in English, but you cannot pronounce them. Yeah, the language is useless, yeah? The language is useless. Okay. So you see that NLP is different from conventional machine learning algorithms in many aspects, and you see that ML and deep learning as well can analyze only the structured data, so can analyze only the language as a set of signs. If you are a language specialist, for sure you had in your studies semantics, right? You were learning about size, the saussure, and all the people that actually were, let's say, studying the language not as a collection of different things which eventually convey the message, but they were studying the language as a system of signs. Of course, they were right, but some people say that it's not only about signs. Okay. You see that number two, NLP empowers computers to understand natural language like humans do. And number three, machine learning algorithms employ statistical techniques, and natural language processing algorithms refine their own rules through repeated processing and learning using a combination of machine learning algorithms. Yeah? So it's like next step, taking into account more and more things, which gives us better and better result, and which actually is making us closer to this picture I showed you at the beginning, which making us closer to the robot that actually can understand us together with emotions, intentions, and so on. We are on this direction, really, when you look at this, yeah? Okay, right, let's move on. You see, that's, I just wanted to put a picture, because I found it nice, okay? But this robot seems to be a bit old-fashioned, but, it's this robot and me together, we are asking the question, how is AI applied to language learning? So summing up, you see what the progress, I hope you see that, what the progress is. You see how the way machines help us learn and teach languages and also do translations have been, let's say, going since the middle of the 20th century, right? So now the big question, how can we apply it to learning a language, yeah? Right, guys. First application I want to tell you about, and which is based on deep learning, but also on NLP, is chatbots and virtual assistant. The application is called Andy. You can Google Andy, right? Andy is a chatbot. Andy doesn't exist, but Andy is quite good. I think that maybe not the best, but still Andy is doing quite well when you want to hold a simple conversation in a given language. Andy is an English specialist, so you can check how this person reacts to your words. Let's try to have the same process in a traditional way. How can I check if the things that I learned about English are good enough? I have to organize a lesson with a teacher. Or I can connect with the teacher via one of the online platforms. But still, we have to be more or less at the computer or mobile device at the same time, yeah? So the teacher can give me feedback immediately, right? That's a challenge, I would say, right? It's easier than it used to be, but still, we need a certain of conditions to be met to have this possibility of checking if the way I say, how are you, is good enough. Andy will help me do it immediately, right? I'm not saying that Andy is super specialist. He's not, okay? But still, it's just here and now, right? Here and now is a big asset of Andy, right? You see this simple conversation that Andy has here. It's about writing. You can write me whenever you want. I'm a robot. I never sleep, right? So Andy even cracks jokes. And yeah, right. Okay, so that's the first thing, how this new wave of AI, how this deep learning and natural learning process, they will be transferred into applications, into our ways of learning the language. Of course, I haven't put it here on any slide, but there is an application called Preply. I don't know if you know Preply. And this application still enables you to contact teachers around the world. It's very clear, it's very easy, because before you contact a teacher, you know the price of the hour, you know where the teacher is from, you know something about his or her background, right? So still, it's not like some people say, artificial intelligence will immediately erase human beings. No, there are like two ways. We cannot stop artificial intelligence from developing, but we can use it to help. And pre-apply is this kind of example. Again, a threat to standard teachers, because now I can contact a native speaker of any language or of most of languages. I haven't checked all the languages, but most of languages. And I can contact this teacher. I can disconnect if I don't like it, right? It gives me a lot of possibilities. I can be in my pajamas, right, doing this. You know what I mean, right? That's a huge progress when you look at the last 3 decades, okay? So it's not like artificial intelligence is heading towards replacing us. No, at this stage, it goes both ways simultaneously. It shows that certain things can be done without a human being, but still it also enables easier contact with human beings. So that's the way it goes. Okay, machine translation, guys, and this was a big hope. First translator, which was the size, maybe the size of my mobile now, I had in my hand like 10 or 12 years ago. It wasn't perfect, but for some people who wanted to travel, it was a big hope because they thought that it was the moment when they could forget this big bookish, books of translations when you read and, So it didn't work out 12 years ago because it wasn't perfect, but now Samsung is introducing the same thing in its mobiles, and we'll see how it goes. Facebook translates posts immediately, here and now, into one of the most popular languages. You don't have to bother to know the language. If it's good or not, I will tell you in a second. Second thing, Amazon, when you want to contact the seller, so the person who are doing the business with, you can write the message in your language, and then Amazon will take care of translating it. I saw the message I wrote from the other side because we had this contact with my friend. It's not a perfect translation, but it conveys the message, right? For some people it's enough. For me, it's not. Well, it depends what kind of a person you are, right? Okay. Next is Grammarly. Grammarly, a typical example of machine learning, guys. So treating the language like a collection of signs and giving you recommendations. You still are needed to approve the recommendation or not. Think of writing an SMS on your iPhone or Samsung. You see that there are some prompts, yeah? My iPhone sometimes replaces the words automatically, and then I have huge trouble sending something to somebody which I don't want, right? But you can stop the machine from doing this, and you can just limit its activity to suggesting you things. Maybe you want this, right? This is how machine learning works. It learns how I'm contacting with this given person. You can actually try it with your mobiles, right? You can see that with some people you contact in English, with some people you contact in your language, with some people you contact in Polish. After some time, the mobile will know which language you want to choose, right? The same is with Navsat in your car. I have Apple CarPlay, so when I go somewhere every Wednesday at 8 o'clock, after 3, 4, 5 Wednesdays, my phone asks me, the road to this place is actually 30-minute long and there is a traffic jam. This is how machine learning works. What will be next? Probably next will be autonomous car, which will immediately know where I want to go, right? This will be deep learning, a natural process of learning the language, right? Because it will understand what I think, okay? So Grammarly, guys, if you have used it, you know what it is. If you haven't, Grammarly is advertised as the application which will help you to write anything you want by correcting your mistakes, but also by suggesting you changes that you can introduce to your text to make it more formal, for example, which a lot of students find difficult, okay? Speech recognition, guys, something that for a very long time, it was absent from, this is Bubble, actually, Bubble Plus, I think. Speech recognition is the technology that very often people were complaining about because it wasn't perfect. It still needs some development, but it's already possible to say things and the machine will tell you if you pronounce it correctly or not. Looks good, guys. So we have chatbots, we have machine translation, we have autocorrection, we have speech recognition. And of course, we have this famous owl, green owl. You know it, right? Some people love it, some people don't. I know people who've been doing this for 600 days because there is a counter, 600 days. taking into account all the things that I have told you so far with this deep learning algorithm, 600 days probably have given the machine so much data that now this program is perfectly tailored to your needs, right? If you don't use it very often, probably you will find things that you're not interested in because the machine doesn't know you yet. Okay, this chatbot platform is fully equipped with AI algorithm to understand the user context. You know it, right? There is also a bot. Nothing surprises you here. I want you to understand the broader context. All right. You see, I like this one, you know. It already develops, and I think it's quite good at recognizing the voice, right? There is also the Rosetta Stone application. Both applications allow you to, let's say, to get access to good pronunciation of stuff, which in most of languages, if not all of the languages in the world, is very important, right? So very often, even before, I remember the application that enabled me to learn the words. It planned the revisions for me, but I couldn't actually speak, so I needed a teacher anyway, right? I needed somebody to tell me. Now you have this technology. It's not perfect. You still need a teacher, but the direction is clear, okay? Right, guys. And now we are slowly heading to this moment of conclusion, you know, because you see what is the development. You see in what direction the development of all the algorithms and technologies are going. I presented to you some applications. Most of you, you know. Some of them you don't know, but still you can believe that they are based on pretty much the same mechanism. And now let's say, okay, so I see how it works. Let's talk about pros and cons, guys. Definitely, we are living in times where we want things tailored to our needs. We don't want general stuff, right? Because we believe that this thing that we have in our pockets enables to create applications or accounts on some platforms perfectly tailored to our needs. What I mean, guys, is that think of a textbook 20 years ago in a classroom. The teacher had 20 people in the class, and he or she had to assume that the pace of learning is more or less at this level. For some people it was too fast, for some people it was too slow, but let's say that the teacher's job was to make it good for everyone, more or less, right? And of course there are some formal requirements, how much you should learn every semester. We have it at the university as well, and you also know it that the teacher tells you this is what you need to learn and this is the exam that will cover this knowledge. We believe that applications and AI will help us create the pace that is perfect for us. And this is half of the truth, okay? Because it will, but it still needs our involvement. We still need, and this is what I want you to remember, deep learning algorithm will work perfectly with you, but only when you provide it with a lot of data. Providing a lot of data means using a certain application very, very long, a lot of times. When I talk to students, most of them resign after 100 days, 50 days, 70 days. They start complaining about the gamification element of Duolingo, for example. Okay, providing instant feedback. On one hand, yes, think of Andy. Andy even jokes that it never sleeps. But we have pre-apply, and the teachers are around, okay? It's more problematic, but you still get, you know, this possibility in a traditional way. But I agree, positive instant feedback, providing instant feedback is a big asset of AI. No fear of failing, okay? We live in times when Facebook and all the applications, all the social media platforms are judging us, so we can sit in our room, make 10,000 mistakes, and nobody will know about it, okay? So it's if you are an introvert and you find learning languages kind of stressful, especially when the group of students around you, they are very open, they talk a lot, and you sit and you're not so open, it's not so easy for you to communicate, applications can be a way out, but only to a certain extent, which I'm going to tell you in a second. And we have a redefined role for teachers. Guys, I'm a teacher, I've been a teacher all my life. And I can tell you, I hear many times when I am celebrating one of the occasions in my family that teachers will disappear. I don't think so. But we as people doing the job, we need to understand that our role will be redefined. Redefining means the same what happened with COVID. Who won, let's say, the race? Those who could redefine the way they were teaching, using Teams, Zoom, and so on. The same here. Is Andy wrong? Is Andy taking my job? No, I can even recommend it to the student, but still I want to be the one who will adjust the application to the student. You know, I don't want the student to choose the application for himself because, for example, Andy will work until a certain extent and then it will stop developing you, you know? So redefining the role rather than replacing, okay? With translators, it's a different story. With translators, you have to really get specialized in a given topic, so Google will not catch you, or just change your job because Google is getting better and better. Google Translate, DeepL, or Chat GPT also, although Chat GPT is not really a translating platform, it's a platform that creates text on its own. Yeah, so kind of logical text. You know, that's unbelievable, you know. My friends work in marketing departments, you know, of different companies, and they say, I was working like one day on the text about our product. Now ChatGPT is giving me this opportunity to have 3 different versions in 10 seconds. Come on, can you stop it? No. There are some issues with copyright in the States now, so we'll see where ChatGPT will go, because it's not fair that it uses all the text written by somebody else and put it as his. It's not fair, guys. But still, we cannot stop it. We have to find our way in it. Okay, so these are the pros. What are the cons, guys? Okay, guys, if you follow what I'm saying, you probably catch that I use this phrase, language is a system of science. And now, if you think of the language as a system of science only, then you will find artificial intelligence quite good and interesting, and you will actually hope that it will be still developing, automatically limiting your contact with other humans. But if you ask me, and I've been dealing with teaching languages all my life and learning as well, language is not only about words. It's not only about pronunciation. It's about human relations. It's about human interaction, right? And this, so far, any application cannot give you. Think of online classes. Is it good to have only online classes? I don't think so. I think that hybrid mode still is this, you know, good solution, yeah? Limited ability to teach context and culture. Again, if you treat the language only as a system of science, you don't care, right? But I believe that we should care when languages come from, why this kind of idiomatic expression is used, not the other one. And then it makes sense. Applications so far cannot teach you that. Nothing will replace a meeting with a native speaker of your favorite language, like in person. Nothing. So far, if you find an application like this, let me know. But so far, I think this is the biggest con of artificial intelligence in languages. It eliminates this human contact. Not human as a teacher, because you can use pre-apply, but it eliminates this human contact, this meeting. For me, this is a normal part of learning any language, having fun with it, talking to people. How nice it is when you see somebody not from your country communicating in your language or trying to communicate in your language, you know. Polish people are so excited when somebody says something in Polish, right? Because we believe that our language is very difficult, so we see that somebody is trying, and we already appreciate that. There isn't any application in the market so far that can replace this. Limited ability to teach creativity and critical thinking. Again, Duolingo is so good at tailoring the needs. I mean, tailoring the content to our needs that we don't have to do anything, right? So it's not very creative. And may lead to over-dependence on technology and speaking, you know, using simple words. I think it will stick us, it will glue us to the screens, which is not good, right? It's just not good for us. I care about this human interaction. I care to come here and meet you, see you, right? I use the language. It's not my first language, but I see that you understand. I can use it, we can have a discussion. This is what communication is about. And applications are like bringing the communication down only to learning a language as a set of signs. It will work to a certain extent. It will work with businessmen who don't want to know Chinese, but they have Chinese partners. And they have to exchange certain emails. Oh, then yes, because you will not learn Chinese, I don't know, 1 month, 2 months, overnight, as they say. But if you want to know something more about the country, language is just one of the elements, and applications cannot give you that. Okay, guys. AI in the game. The Economist, you know, 3 more slides and you will have a chance to ask me or to discuss it with me. Economist in August 2023 wrote an article entitled AI could make it less necessary to learn foreign languages, less necessary. And now we have travel has long been a motivator for study unless people start to feel AI tools offer a good enough service. Some are concerned that apps are turning language acquisition into a dwindling pursuit, a difficult speech and Mandarin which required a lot of work but offered a sense of accomplishment at the end. Who would boast of taking a helicopter to the top of Mount Everest? You get this metaphor? If you climb Mount Everest and think of learning a hard language, this is like climbing the Mount Everest. You will be proud to communicate with the native user of this language. You will, right? I think so. Satisfaction comes from hard work. Elon Musk can tell me that it doesn't, but I don't believe him, right? But at the same time, you can go to this Everest using a helicopter. You can learn a language to a certain extent by using the application. You can. But will you be so satisfied? Will you show the helicopter on your Facebook? You know, I don't think so. I don't know. I don't know if it's even possible, right? Because sometimes climbing the Mount Everest can be unsuccessful, but still the way up gives you experience, gives you something. Second phrase, right? People will split into 2 groups, according to the author of this article in The Economist. There will be those who want to stretch their minds, look at the elements of the language learning process without using only applications, because the fact that we use applications is good, guys, but it must be teaching supported by applications, not application-oriented only. So we have 2 groups. One group wants to stretch their minds, immerse themselves in other cultures, or force their thinking into new pathways. 3 elements of learning any language that no application will give you. But there will be also the other group of people that will use, they will be very quick to use the technology, and they will just care about ordering a drink somewhere. They will just care about asking the man or the lady at the reception desk in a hotel somewhere in Singapore, will just care about asking the question, where is my towel? Is it bad? No, it's not wrong that somebody is using the language just a tool of communication. It's not just full story. Okay? And now, you can see that some people will look at you, knowing the language, struggling with this. They will look at you with admiration and puzzlement, but at the same time they will say, it's not my cup of tea. I don't want to struggle so much. I'm a mathematic person, yes? I look for patterns. I do complicated maths, and language for me is just to contact the research team on the other side of the world. Is it wrong? No. But it's not full picture of learning the language. That's the point I want to tell you about. Okay. And just to sum up, guys, this is the article I found on the site called Bankier, okay? Banker in Polish is the person who works in a bank or is connected, his or her work is connected with banking. These are, some conclusions that I'm putting forward, and you can say no or yes to them. So first one is, For sure, learning languages will be supported by artificial technology. That's for sure. In my opinion, it's like 100% sure. However, what makes learning a language unique and so far unattainable for AI is the social-cultural context and the human element. I encourage everyone to use applications, but at the same time join standard classes. This gives the whole picture, right? Treating foreign languages only as tools of communication will eventually speed up the process and give in the trend of learning via apps, chatbots, and language problems. Guys, the more we care about learning a language only as a set of signs, the more space we give for AI to develop. Demand, supply, you know it, yeah? The more applications we need, the more we have. That's the way it works. Nobody has, Duolingo wasn't created just for fun. It was created because there was a need for this, yes? Or there was a need under construction, let's say, yeah? So the creators knew that it would be the future, yeah? I'm not criticizing Duolingo. I'm just saying that using only Duolingo is not giving you what languages are about, in my opinion. According to the Future of English Global Perspective, the pursuit for perfection in learning foreign languages is slowly disappearing for the sake of communication and reaching given goals. Such approach will favor AI in all possible ways. And this is the last sentence I want to tell you. If we are technology-oriented generations, we want to have newest technologies, smart homes, smart cars, autonomous cars, robots doing the job for us. As long as we don't mind it, this will develop, and if we don't put enough effort in learning the language in a mixed way, I'm not saying about traditional way only, in a mixed way, we will get it. We will get, guys, this picture, this is my bibliography, we will get this sooner than we think, right? But is it the thing that we really want? I don't want this. I want this only to be a part of the other class when I meet with a human being, because languages are part of our nature. And this is the end of my lecture for today. Thank you very much for your attention. Right? We'll just have the final screen. Okay, and yeah, this is the 20th Festival of Science. If you have any questions, I'm open. Yeah, you want a mic?
No, it's okay.
It's okay, right. I can hear you, yeah. Maybe I don't want to believe it. I think that so far we still see the need of contact. That's why we look at the discourse in the States and in European Union. We talk how to limit artificial intelligence. So we see the dangers. That's why I think it will not happen. But at the same time, you can quote my last sentence, and if we don't do anything, killing maybe not, but eliminating from different aspects of life, it may happen. May happen. Yeah, it is. Yeah, these algorithms are about self-improving, yes. But die. Terminator story. So you will come from the future to take care of this. I don't know, I don't think so. I think that algorithms still look, Google Translate is the best example. The progress Google Translate has made in the last 15 years is enormous. It's impressive, really. So if we follow this way, maybe not for your generation, but next generation, I don't want to use the word killing, but eliminating, like... The question is if you want to fight with this or not. Because if you want to fight with machines, then there will be a fight, you don't know the result, yeah? But if you feel comfortable with sitting at home and the machine doing the job for you, yeah, thank you guys, if you have to go. So I don't think so, I don't want to think so, but this is the gloomy scenario. Yeah, I know it, so yeah. Any more questions? No, all right. Thank you guys very much for being here, for your attention, and yeah, have a good day. Enjoy your lectures, yes. Thanks, guys.